Welcome to the King Ugly Crew podcast, everyone. We are going to be discussing board games or card games, whatever to.
Boring games, according to Griffith and Dane.
Yeah, Griff's boring and Dane's boring. If he doesn't have a screen, he's not interested. And Griff, I don't know why Griff didn't get into it.
Because he found YouTube at a young age, and that's all he enjoys now.
that is such bull crap. He didn't used to watch YouTube when we were playing games. He just never played. But as you can tell by only the three voices on here, it is just Case, Lonnon, and I.
Well, it might be Griff. Like, he was just trying to key in here. Like, I don't know if that was just weird or...
Oh, Griff might actually hop on and give his opinion on why he hates board games or card games.
Yeah, maybe. It could be fun. Could be interesting. Can't defend myself. Griff, I made it so you could talk now.
Oh, there I can.
Yeah, now you can talk.
Don't talk with a mouthful, dude. Just don't do that to our listeners.
My goodness.
Yeah, are you 4?
Gosh.
Yeah.
All right, so Baroni, what's the game that started this entire thing? Because I know there's one in my brain.
Definitely Settlers of Catan. That's the one that started off board games for me. I mean, of course, we all played Chutes and Ladders when we were little, but Settlers of Catan was like the first adult game I remember playing. And Lonnon got us into that. I remember going over to their apartment when they lived next to Las Vegas High School. So Braylon had to have been born.
Oh, yeah. If it was Las Vegas High School, it was definitely Braylon was born because she was pregnant with Arroya at that time.
Yep. So we'd go over there, and we went over like every weekend, and we'd play this game for like 4 hours. And the thing about Settlers of Catan is it's a game that changes every time you play it. The board doesn't stay the same. You make the board there's 4 different types of commodities. There's wood, sheep.
5.
Iron?
Yeah, you got ore.
Yes, you're right. There are 5.
Wheat, wood, brick.
And then there's also these numbers, and the numbers correlate to dice rolled. So you have 2 die in the game.
The number on the dice that is rolled.
Yeah.
So it goes 2 to 12. Because obviously you can't roll a 1 with 2 dice, and you can't roll anything bigger than a 12.
So you have all of the numbers 2 through 12 except for 7, because 7 can be rolled in more combinations than any other number.
Yep.
So, and then if you roll a 7, there's this thing called a robber. And if you roll a 7, and you have over 7 cards, so there's these commodities that you receive, and as you roll the dice, you get commodities for what is rolled. Well, if you have over 7 cards in your hand, so if you have 8, you have to get rid of 4 of them. If you have 9, you have to get rid of 5 of them. So it's a pretty fun game, and then you get to move the robber and put it onto somebody else's commodity, so that way they can no longer receive that. So it gives you kind of an edge in the game, or it can totally screw you if you put it on the wrong person. They'll never trade with you again. So let's say that you don't have brick or you don't have a certain commodity and they do. In some cases, they'll just never trade with you again.
Which I find is funny. It kind of promotes not hoarding. Because you get the people that want to save up for a settlement or something like that. And that's a city is what, 5 cards alone?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, if you have 2 extra or 3 extra cards in your hand, I mean, you're totally done. Like, you lose your city in the process. If a 7 is rolled, which is, like Baron was saying, is the most likely possibility of 2 dice being rolled together is a 7.
Absolutely, and that comes into play even more so when you've got 6 people. But the nice thing is that the people, gosh, I can't even think of the name of the company that make it, Mayfair. I think it's Mayfair. They decided with a 5 and 6 player, you can do what's called an in between, and if you've already got your city, you can play it right then between turns.
Turns,
yeah. Yep. So you're not losing that one. Like, you just got it on your net. You know, it's your turn, and then it was somebody else's turn, and now you got all your stuff for a city, but you got to wait until everybody else plays. Yeah, that could get old real quick.
Plus, you could trade during that as well, which was kind of nice. So
technically, I looked that up, and you cannot.
Oh, maybe that's wrong then. Okay.
Yeah, so you can. From what I read, you can't trade to people, and you can't trade to anybody. And the only way you can trade is to the bank if you're going to like trade 4 cards for 1 card, or 3 cards for 1 card, or 2 cards for 1 card.
Sorry, I know there's ports in the game as well, which give you access to like a brick port, which you can trade in 2 bricks for whatever it is.
Right.
Is that allowed as well?
From what I read, it's supposed to be as long as you use it right then. So you can't like, oh, I've got 2 brick and I need a wheat, but I don't need it right now. Then
activate Unite or something.
Right.
Okay.
So cool. If you use it right then it's doable. If you don't use it right then, And maybe that's a little bit of street rules of mine. I don't know, to be honest with you.
It's all good. And that's honestly, the street rules are just how we make games our own, like in our families, which I really enjoy most of them. But so the whole point of the game
is to win.
Is to win, obviously. Thanks, Lonnon.
No, the whole point's to win. I never thought.
Barrett has only won how many times?
Twice.
There's actually a lot of games.
Twice with you guys. Every time I play with Brianna's family, I either win. I win about every other time with Brianna's family.
That's pretty awesome. Well, the whole point is so.
Wait, Griff wants
you get
Griff wants to
jump
in here.
Griffy, jump in here.
The reason why I don't like board games is because it's not even that I don't win, because a lot of times I do. It takes forever.
But the fun part of that is that it's the camaraderie with everybody.
And how much video games do I really play?
Yeah,
None.
Since you got your Switch.
Yeah, you're probably playing your Switch right now. Let's be honest.
I've been playing it all weekend, but that's because I had nothing better to do.
I don't know why, Griffy.
I don't either.
Yeah. Anyway.
Almost beat another Mario Brothers, though.
Okay, Case. Go ahead and...
So the total general purpose of the game is to get points. The person that has the first person to 13 points.
10.
Is it 10?
Oh, yeah, you're used to playing Cities and Knights.
Yeah, Cities and Knights is what you're used to playing. It's 10.
My apologies, guys. Yeah. So there's expansions to the original Settlers of Catan. So it's 10 points.
Yeah, I think I'm into that game somewhere near $250.
But that's because you made your own board, though.
Oh, I bought the board, but before I bought the board, I was just shy of $150.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot. You got Seafarers of Catan. You got Cities and Knights of Catan. There's a whole bunch.
There's another one too. There's one more main one too that I never.
Oh, the island one.
Well, that's Seafarers is the island one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, okay. But there's one other one that they came out with fairly recently. But they changed the tile size too. So to get some of those, I couldn't buy them now and have them work with mine.
Lame. That's kind of dumb that they would change it up on you.
Yeah, they actually made the tiles a tiny bit smaller.
Dang. But sorry,
stupid.
Get back to the whole purpose.
Well,
and
then let's also not forget that the 5 and 6 player expansion is an expansion because originally it's a 4-player game.
Yeah, so the main game's $40, and then I think the expansion was always $25. Then again, $40, and then the expansion was $25. So I guess I wasn't into it that much.
It's still not cheap.
My wife, $130.
Yeah, my wife finally bought it for me, but I've yet to play it once. So just because I live in Cedar City now, and the only person we go play with is Lonnon.
And he has this fancy wood board that Venetia has been painting, and
fancy schmancy.
If you want to talk about a nerdy board, it is Lonnon's board. It is the most nerdily awesome thing ever.
Yeah, but it's really nice because it holds together so well.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it does.
There's lots of cool things about it. No, there's no doubt about it. But yes, okay. So the whole point is to win, get 10 points, and you get points by a couple of things. Cities will get you points, or settlements will get you 1 point. Cities will get you 2 points. I always go for longest road, which gets me 2 points. You can get 2 points from the biggest army, which is buying a development card. In the development cards, which
victory
is what?
Points.
Yeah, an ore, a wheat, and a sheep. There's victory points in there. And there's also other cards in there like the Monopoly and other cards that make it so that you can take cards from other people. So there's some cool ones.
Baron was saying before is that the fact that the game changes every single time you play with it is why it is so enjoyable.
Right, because you never know how it's going to be. I mean, sometimes you might lay the board out and go, dude, this board is going to be awesome. And then you get the number set on there and you're like, dude, you're halfway through
this board
is the worst board ever.
Or the games where we totally cheated because you're supposed to lay out the board with the tiles upside down, or at least not being able to see them when you're laying them down.
No, not when you're laying them down. So when you're laying them down, you're supposed to start in the center and you just go down. You just pick them up and put them in a pile together, randomly together, and then just lay them down in that specific order.
Yeah.
But it's still very random. And there were some times that we changed a board, think it would make it better, and made it worse.
By far.
So
let the random play take its place, guys. Don't just put all the good places next to each other. No, it doesn't work out. So
no, absolutely not.
It's awesome.
You end up with all the ores on a 12, a 2, and a something else.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, that's a fun game, guys, and it's definitely something to do with more than 3 people. I think you can play with 2, right?
You could probably play with 2. I bet you. Well, I guess Nick and Marie told me they used to play with 2, and that's where I got it from. Is what Nick and Marie, they had me come over to their house and we played one night. That's when I fell in love with it. So,
I get it.
so I'm sure yes, you could probably play 2 people, but I don't know how. I don't know how well it would play. Not only that, but I mean, if you're playing with your wife, you can't be nice.
No, because it's definitely all about tactics.
So, not that I would be anyway. I mean, to be honest, my wife knows that. So,
I don't think your wife would play one-on-one with you.
probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
I know
My
my
wife
wife
certainly
wouldn't.
wouldn't.
Yep, same here.
Your wife
That's-
wouldn't play one-on-one with me? That's what you're saying?
Well, no, my wife wouldn't play one-on-one with me. Well, it's because like I already play.
Aggressively?
No, what's that stupid train game called?
Ticket to
Oh,
Ride.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride.
Why is it
So-
stupid?
It's not stupid. I love that game because I win like almost every time I play it. And my wife refuses to play with me because I win and murder her so brutally that she refuses to play with me.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I've actually they have the Xbox version. I've gotten Mom addicted to that. Like she has an Xbox at her house for
Mom has
Dad.
an Xbox?
Yeah, so Dane let her
Oh.
it was supposed to give it to Dad, so Dad could just actually do something with his hands all day. But yeah, Mom has taken it over and plays Ticket to Ride
That's
almost every day.
hilarious. That's hilarious. I
Yeah,
have it on
last
my
time
phone.
she was in town. Last time she was in town, she's like, "Hey, can I buy some expansions?"
Well, I've got it on my phone. I could get it. I have a free version of it, so I can put it on her phone. She has an Android, so might have to let her know.
So
But she
Mom is
enjoys
probably one of the best people to play Ticket to Ride with.
Grandma.
No. Oh, well, Mom, because she's so patient and she just deals with it. Like, I remember there was one time that she got totally screwed, like absolutely boxed into a place where she could not get out. And there was like 7 rounds left of the game that she was just done. She couldn't reach her port. It had already been taken up and she was boxed in, like everybody had surrounded her and she couldn't move. And she just went through it like a trooper. I would have been so pissed. I just would have quit. I'd have been like, this is stupid. I'm not going to do this anymore. And mom just pushed through it.
Yeah, like I get that in other games. So what's funny is like you guys started playing Ticket to Ride with Grandpa Kusei, I think, a lot.
Yep, and Grandma.
And so with us, it was a different games with Grandpa and Grandma. And so I played Ticket to Ride. My wife plays it a lot on her phone, but for me, it's like, it's not bad. But I think Settlers has more strategy, and Segway Empire Builder has more strategy.
Oh, I agree. And Empire Builder is still my favorite train game. I mean, hands down, my favorite train game. There's so much more strategy, so much more going on, but it's like a 6-hour game. I can't think of a single game. Can you think of a single one that lasted less time than that?
I think we had a couple that lasted 3, but let's be honest. I mean, you and Case and Serrier all would have been, in their early teens, and so I mean, how much were you really paying attention? Other than maybe you, Baron. Really, I know Baron was like focused, but like I know Case was, he was jacking around, and Serrier would have been in and out, and so all the games that we played, I mean, even Settlers that should only take hour and a half, usually ended up taking 2.5 or 3. So it's more about who's all playing, I think.
But really, think about Empire Builder. I remember several Sundays where you guys came over and we started like as soon as we got out of church, and we didn't end until like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm not saying that it isn't long a game. It absolutely is. What I'm saying is that I think a lot of it came down to not being focused on the game itself. And so, because if you look at the actual box, the box does say 3 hours, I believe.
Oh, wow.
I've actually I can't remember playing Empire Builder.
Really? When you
I love
draw
that
with the
game.
crayons?
No, that doesn't sound familiar at all, actually.
Where you draw
was-
your train maps?
That's what
Yeah.
made it so great. Is
No.
It's not like
Nope.
you're stuck to this stupid destination like you are in Ticket to Ride or you are in Rail Baron. You actually get to draw your destination.
Yeah, and the second thing is, I believe it's not even in print anymore. So for me to get a board is like crazy money.
Oh dang! That's the biggest issue with board games now, especially good games. They're pricey, like really pricey.
Yeah, and actually, that's why I go down to Game Haven, actually, to be honest with you, down in St. George. Because
really?
those guys, they will, you can walk in and you can talk to them and say, okay, this is what I'm looking for, and they'll know. They'll be like, oh, this is a great game for you, or this is a great game for you, or do you like D&D, or do you like this, or do you like that? Okay, here's some good ones for you. You can rent them from them. You can, and that rental fee also goes toward purchasing. So like, it's not really renting, right? And then on top of that, they have like a guarantee. If you like, they will seriously guarantee a game you like it. Like, we will guarantee you like this game, and if not, bring it back and we'll refund your money completely, and you can get a different game.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't know they had that down there.
Yeah, and the guy down there, I mean, he is awesome, just awesome.
Sweet,
That's really cool.
What about so we all grew up playing Monopoly, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
ended some friendships, ended some started some family feuds. Just terrible, no good fun.
Well, I think I can maybe name how many Monopoly games I've actually finished on like one hand, whereas there's countless games that just never got finished.
Oh yeah, like, I'm right there with you. Like I don't.
You're just done. Like,
Just-
who's gonna win. It's just how long is it gonna take them to win.
I
Yep.
think that's the reason why I don't like board games.
That's
Because
of
why
Monopoly?
Yeah, I think it's Monopoly.
I'm not surprised, to be honest with
Yep,
you.
I would agree with that, Griffey.
Because every game I've ever played, and it was always Monopoly, because that was the game to go to for such a long time before all these other games, and it never ended.
It honestly, I seriously can't think of one that ended.
The problem with the never ending with Monopoly, though, is the fact that it was like, okay, I'm totally screwed. I can't do anything. It's no longer fun at all. But I have to be here to finish the game. Versus Settlers, where it's totally not that way. It can absolutely be a
Neck
Because
and
it's-
neck game.
Right,
It's
right.
freaking frustrating as all crap, especially when you're just about to win
and then Lonnon
and
wins again.
Lonnon lays down in front of you. Like, just about to win. Like, laying down the winning hand, Lonnon lays down the winning hand, and you're like, just throw your cards up in the air, and you're like, I hate you, you suck, I was about to win.
Yeah.
Barrett, do you have personal experience with that? I can't tell.
It sounds like maybe this happened once.
Oh, no.
Or
The
300
last
times.
time, sorry, 2 times ago, last time we played, I didn't even try to win, I just tried to screw Lonnon the whole game. That was
Oh,
my
I
whole
love
goal.
it. I love it.
That was my whole objective,
And
was
I
to
think
make
I
sure
still
Lonnon
won,
didn't
didn't
win.
I?
No, you didn't.
Oh,
Kaylani won.
Kaylani won. Yeah.
Yeah, but the game before that, Kaylani and I were both about to win.
Yeah.
And then Lonnon wins.
Yeah. It
That's,
happens.
but that's one of the main things about Settlers. It's so much fun. Like literally, it could be anyone's game.
Like right up until the end. That's what's nice about
Yep.
it. Right up to the end, it could be anybody's game.
Where Monopoly, like Griffey was saying, it never ends. Or you just like you were saying too, Lonnon, is that you just sit there because you already know who's going to win, but you just don't want to stop because that's not right.
It's but it's not. But you can't do anything about it. I mean, like
No.
they have Park Place, they have Boardwalk, they have that whole street.
If they have a whole block, you're screwed.
Or they have 2 whole blocks, and you're just like, I'm just waiting now, waiting to lose.
Okay, so what about other classic games? Scrabble? Do you guys play Scrabble?
Not
No.
much. Skip-Bo. Yeah, that was one with Grandma that Grandma always used to do.
Yeah,
with us.
Skipple's always that's actually one of those card games my wife will actually play, which is great. My wife's really not a game person or a board game person, should I say. She just doesn't particularly enjoy it. But she'll play Skippo with Grandma all the time. Or my wife will actually play Scrabble with me occasionally, and Scrabble's actually my favorite board game.
Oh, really?
I still don't get it. I mean,
it's-
it's just making words.
That's my thing. I really enjoy.
I think it's fun. I totally think it's fun. Like I play the Words with Friends or whatever that is every
Yes.
now and then.
So yeah, same thing.
But like nobody
Uh,
plays with me, so it's like I play it for a while and then I stop playing
There
it
you go,
because
Lana, let's do this.
yeah, we should get oh, you know what would be cool is if you get multiple people in there, like a game of 10 people, a
Dude.
really big board.
Really
Like
big
how
board.
sick would that be?
That'd be fun. Like so just our family would be awesome.
Right,
Or our
that's what I'm
listeners
saying,
as
like,
well.
But yeah, like it would just be so cool to have a huge. I'm gonna have to look that up and see if somebody has it.
That'd be cool. If not,
Okay,
you guys design
so-
it and we'll make millions.
So it is Mayfair Games that does Catan. They're just the publisher here in the States. They have publishers all over the United States or all over the world. So
That's awesome.
And then
Wizard. All of us grew
Wizard.
up kind of on a Wizard.
Wizard.
absolutely Wizard. I was going to say that one. That one's an incredible game. Super fun.
Wizard
Oh,
is
lots
a
of
few I will
strategy.
play still.
Griffey, you like Wizard?
I like
I didn't
Wizard.
know that.
I didn't know that either.
It's probably the only game I'll play.
Do you
Well,
play?
it's
Do you
because
play
it's
Hearts?
probably going the whole time. Yeah, it's very similar to
Correct.
Hearts, except for that you have a trump and an adjuster. That's really what it comes down to.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't know Griffith liked that one.
Yeah, I didn't either. So,
This is actually what's funny about this conversation. This is actually all we do at our family reunion is play board games or pool the
Yeah.
entire time we're there.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like all because of Grandma and Grandpa has set the standard for us. Because when you go to Grandma and Grandpa's house, you play games like board games. You don't play. They don't have a good big giant TV. There's no video game systems or anything. It's literally board games or card games the entire time. Oh, take that back. I played Frogger on the computer.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's awesome that we have this instilled in us too. Yeah, that's what's nice about board games. It really opens your brain to more possibilities, I think.
Well, I like the strategy behind board games. It requires you to think like really in depth
Critically.
of how to win the game.
Critically thinking is a massive trait, I feel like, and that's something that you have to do while playing a strategic board game.
So, what
Yeah.
about favorite like physical card games, like a deck of 52 cards? Mine is most certainly
Rummy.
Rummy.
Yep.
Gin
Yeah.
Rummy.
Yeah, me and Baron have played many games of Rummy.
Rummy's
Scott.
decent. I also
Goldfish.
Go fish. I also like Pinocchle's really quite fun as well.
I don't think I've ever played.
Pinochle, you don't play with the bottom cards. Like you play for, I think it's 7 and up. So like you have to actually buy a Pinochle deck.
Take that back. I played with Skylar and Mike one time, I believe.
It's fun. You can get your butt handed to you real quick. Another one that we used to play with Doug and all my friends when I was growing up was called Tripoli, and it was poker, blackjack, and hearts all combined.
That sounds pretty fun. What's the objective?
Yeah.
To win.
Oh my gosh, I'm done.
Thank you so much,
Good night,
Lonnon.
everybody. That was a great episode. Gosh.
To be honest with you, so like you could win poker, but then you went on to the next, like the next part of that same round. Maybe
it was hearts, or
yeah, maybe it wasn't blackjack, but I think the reason it's Tripoli is because there's three different games in the game, and so you'd bid, and then you do your poker part, and then you do your hold on, I'll look it up while you guys think about some other ones. Have you guys tried any of the evolution games? Is what they're called?
No.
What is that?
It's fairly new, but basically you get to be dinosaurish things. Like you pull a main card, right? And then you get these little tokens that can make you do other things. Like you can be a carnivore. But if you're a carnivore, then you can only eat other animals. Or, if like it would actually, so I don't have the original version. We bought the ocean version of it. And I think you guys would really like it.
I would be okay with trying that out.
There's another
Absolutely.
one called Susuro, I think is what it is, and it's basically so it's got these square tiles. We played a lot of games when Nish was down in the hospital, right? So I'd go and I'd rent them from Game Haven, and so it's square tiles, and then they have like these there's lines all over it. So there's always an entrance and an exit of a line, and so basically on each side of the tile you have two lines, whether it's incoming or outgoing, it doesn't matter. It could be both, depending on which way you're going. The whole point is to try and make it so that you stay on the game map and try and put a tile down that makes everybody else go off the game map. So you just move these little guys around, and so there's definitely a lot of thinking going on with it.
Like a couple of steps in advance.
Oh yeah, because you have like 5 tiles in your hand, and you're like, hey, I could lay that one there. But you always have to lay it. You always have to lay it where you're going to next. You can't just lay a card, right? So it's always affecting you.
Well, affecting the other players too.
Right.
Oh, cool.
And sometimes it affects them right off the board. So it's a fun one. It really is. So that one's a good one. I'm trying to think what some of the other ones we played.
Have you guys ever played Dominoes?
Like crazy, like Mexican Train.
Mexican Train.
Mexican Train. Yeah.
That was like my wife's go-to game for like a year.
I honestly, I haven't played in a long time. I just remembered, I actually really enjoyed Dominoes. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it can get pretty crazy, especially on the Mexican Train line, the wild line. That's when it starts getting fun, when you start splitting it off, and you split it off again, and you split it off again, and you use every single one of the dominoes, and you're like,
Dang.
whoa, this one's big. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. What's the game that I played with you guys? I can't remember which one it is. The card game. Oh my goodness,
Yep,
how did I forget the name
Card
of
game.
it?
What does he have to do, Baron?
Alice taught me.
That one card game. With
I know
that
that
thing.
one.
What do you
card
have
game.
to do, Baron?
It's similar to Rummy. You come up with sets. How did I forget the name?
Hand and foot.
Hand and foot.
I've never played Hand and Foot. I've seen people play it.
Baron's the one that. You're Baron. You're the one that taught me that one.
Yeah.
You learned
Hand
from
and
Skylar,
foot.
didn't you?
No, I learned it from Brianna's second mom.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So, and Brianna's really pretty good at that game. Like, I've beat her. Well, I've gotten to the point where it's either her or I that win every time. But if she's on a team with somebody else, she almost always beats me.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. But that one requires a lot of strategy too.
And a lot of cards.
Yeah, a lot of cards.
It's like 4 decks.
Well,
The
that's
deck
like
per person.
What's the one where you slap the table?
Oh my god!
Like they have the cards.
Spoons.
Well, okay, spoons is one, but there's also another one that's not spoons.
War?
War is one too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not what I was thinking.
There's a lot of card games where you slap a table.
Yeah.
I was
Poker
thinking
when you're mad.
Spoons, though. Spoons is a fun party game. If you get enough people and you play Ultimate Spoons and you put the spoons over the house, that makes for a very fun
over
game.
the house?
Yeah, I played that a lot as a young single adult. We called it Ultimate Spoons. Oh, people always got injured doing that one.
I love it. I remember playing theater. Yep. Like, that was our go-to thing. Like, we go do after party or something. It's spoons. And it was rough, dude. I
always lost. I am so slow.
Huh.
But that one's definitely it's a good, friendly, kid-friendly game. As long as you're okay getting injured.
Gotcha.
I always thought BS was stupid.
Agreed.
And it's not that I was bad at the game. I just thought it was stupid.
Yeah. Okay. Well. So those are a couple. I'll link you guys to Tesoro. Tesoro is a really fun one to play, and the nice thing about that one, I think you can play up to 8 people with, right? So it's hard to find games that you can play with a lot of people. Most of the time, you're capped at like 6 or 4, and so finding one that you can play with multiple people really does make a big deal and a big difference.
Which is especially big for the King Ugly crew, obviously. Because there's 10 kids.
So Case, did you play at Gurkha with us, or was that Baron?
What was it?
Or no, it was Griffith who played at Gurkha with us when we were at the Premier Union, like 2. Not the last one, but I think the one before that.
Okay, I remember the name sounds so familiar. What is the purpose of it?
To win.
Oh my gosh, Lonnon!
Lonnon,
I'm gonna slap you in the face. Gosh,
I like it,
dude.
But basically, I don't remember. You're a farmer of some sort. I truthfully, that was the first and the last time I played it. Because I can't get my kids to sit down with it. It was pretty, I remember we sit down and read the rules for 45 minutes or an hour.
I was.
And then finally, we looked it up online and saw the 10-minute walkthrough. And we're like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and it's agriculture-based game.
Right, that would be why it's Agricola.
It's so fun.
Actually, I think now that we figured it, we haven't figured it out now. It was 4 years ago, so now maybe we need to.
Why don't we try it again?
Corkle. You guys have all played Corkle with Grandma and Grandpa, right?
No, not with Grandma and Grandpa, but I have played it.
Okay, that one's fun. That one has a little bit of strategy in it.
Well, really enjoy that one. I know Grandpa really likes that one too.
So there's another game that's like Corkle from the same card manufacturer. Let me see if I can find it.
5 Crowns.
5 Crowns. It was the same company, I believe.
Yep. That's another one that I really enjoyed with Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. Phase 10 was a good one.
Phase 10 is a staple. I've decided.
But you know what? To be honest with you, I'll play Phase 10 if I have to, but there's a lot other games that I would prefer to play.
Okay, I could understand that completely, but it's like one of those games that I remember playing Tosh a lot.
Yeah, you could just sit down
a lot.
You could just sit down and play Phase 10, but you sit down and you play Wizard, and you really get a good play out of it. And if you're leading with Trump, you can really get even Grandma heated, which is pretty hard to do.
It's really hard to do.
Oh, because I played Wizard with a couple of friends once, and it was miserable because they kept on throwing down Trump, and I was like, I'm about done. I was like, because the first card they laid down was Trump, and I'm like, you guys suck.
Did they do it on purpose, or did they just not realize?
I don't think they realized, and then as we were sitting there playing the game, I was all like, you know why you don't lead with Trump is because you know what? You just got a hand you didn't want because you pulled everybody's Trump out in the first hand.
Yeah, you just got screwed.
But they didn't get it through the whole game. They just didn't get it. They kept doing it, and so I got to the point where it was no fun because I could not depend on my Trump because I got pulled out in the first couple of rounds.
Gotcha. Like people just played willy-nilly.
Yeah, drove me out of my mind.
Yeah, there's certainly ways to play Trump and lead with Trump, but you have to have a specific plan in hand.
3 or 4 wizards, then yes.
Well,
If you
or
have
some really
all-
high trumps, or you can't take it with the trump you have, but you're trying to screw everybody else over.
Oh, like a
And
2 of hearts or something?
Yeah, you've got like a 2 of hearts, but then all your other cards, you got 5 cards, and they're all like 1 or 2s and 2s and 3s, and you're like, all right, we'll have some fun with everybody. There's times that it can be fun, but most of the time, it's irritating.
Did you ever play Rage?
It's
very similar to Wizard, but I think
I didn't
Mike is
I didn't like Rage.
Well, honestly, it's all about creating chaos.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's probably why I didn't like it.
I'm kind of the same way, but I know Mike really likes to play with Trump while playing Wizard. That's Skylar's husband. And Grandma and Grandpa hate playing with Mike.
Yeah, because he does it to create chaos. There's no doubt about that.
I think he'd be really good at Rage.
Yeah, probably. He'd probably enjoy it. Have you guys played the one where you play with the stocks? Where it's
Stock market?
Well, no, it's like you got some cows and gosh, what is it? I know we've played it with Grandma and Grandpa, but it's a pretty fast-paced game. You're trying to get people to trade you cards. Be like, I've got 3 cows, and you've got. Does anybody have any cows? Cows, and you're up there trying to get people to give you what you need to make a set.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh gosh, I'll remember it at the end of this, after it's over, and then you'll go, oh yeah, I remember.
Hey, you're editing. You could just put your voice in here right here.
Yeah, could totally do that.
Don't.
Not going to.
If it's edited in, you guys know this happened after the fact.
Right. Gosh, what is so? What's some other games that you guys like playing? I'm surprised, Case, you never played Empire Builder with us. Maybe it was just too long.
Really wasn't very old. Like, I think I was 14 to 16.
Yeah,
we were mostly
old
playing
enough
it.
Where you could concentrate on it more, and that's probably why you didn't want to.
Yeah. I had other things in my mind.
You guys, did you guys
mostly
play Air Baron
girls.
with me?
Yep. Don't be jealous, Baron. Don't be jealous.
Rail Baron? No, I never got to. You always compared Empire Builder to Rail Baron, and we never played it.
Not Rail Baron, Air Baron. Remember, my wife bought it for me for my birthday one year.
Yes, we did play that.
And then we've got. Do you guys remember Starfarers of Catan?
Starfarers of Catan. I remember that one.
I don't.
Really, Bear?
I remember Cities and Knights, but I don't remember Starfarers.
Huh. Yeah, I have that
Base
one
in
still.
Space.
Yep, Base in Space. You guys probably don't remember Cranium. I don't think that was.
I love Cranium.
Do you remember playing with?
Yeah, because you had the Play-Doh or the clay or whatever, and then you had a draw.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's right. I do remember.
I love that game.
Yep. So 2 of that right now.
Okay. How about, I know this isn't a board game technically, but it's a party game. Charades? Do you guys actually enjoy charades?
No.
Really?
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, I would agree. Not at all.
It's just...
If I had the choice, if I'm going to play a party game, I'm just going to pull the Jackpack up and let everybody play that way.
Jackbox is where it's at.
Yeah, Jackbox is fun.
Because I figured out how to cast it so everybody can play remotely.
Dude, why haven't we done this? We need to have a King Ugly Crew night.
Yeah, we totally can. I mean, like anybody that wants to get on too. It's not just. I mean, like
because you have the room code. You can play. I think it's like 10 people.
Right.
And then you can have viewers as well.
Yep.
Dude, we need to have a Jackbox night.
Yeah, we totally can. Griff's getting an Xbox soon. Well, it doesn't matter actually. All you need is a phone. All you need is a device, a laptop, a phone. It doesn't really matter. Just some sort of device you can get onto the page with, and then you just. The way I did it is that I was just going to do a Google Meet. Right, there's a couple games you can't play because you have to see the people when you're doing it.
Right, the hands and finger one.
Right.
Oh,
right.
That one's so great. I love that
one's
game.
Fun that one's good.
In person, it's great.
But it would not be good in a big group setting. But there's plenty of them that are, and then you can play over it. And so basically, just a Google Meet, take your computer, hook it up to your, set it like right underneath your TV, and then make it so that the web camera is showing everybody else. So you can still see everybody, kind of, but mostly the screen is just showing, and then we can play it that way. Yeah,
we totally gotta do this. I mean, I'm thinking next Sunday is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
All right.
I'm down.
That's the 14th. If anyone wants to join in, hit us up for details. You can hit us at King Ugly Crew at Instagram and Facebook, or you can reach out to us to our Gmail account, and that is kinguglycrew@gmail.com. I know. Great plug. You're welcome.
Sweet. Okay, so can you think of any other ones that you guys enjoyed playing? Like, I mean, there's lots that I used to play, but I mean, Rail Baron again was one of them, and I actually have it now. I bought it. Cost me $80 for the game.
For Rail Baron?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
But
okay.
There's people that actually will print you off a map now. And if you want to play with a different map and different cards, you can print your own cards, right? You could make your own fantasy world if you wanted to out of it. And but yeah, there's places that will print you a map and make it on a board and everything for you.
That's awesome. Did you guys? We just finished The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, which is all about chess.
So good.
It was a great show.
Not about chess, really, though.
Not about chess, like at all, but it's still
so good.
Did you guys ever play chess?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you?
Yeah.
No,
I really enjoy chess.
I do too, and I don't I'd love to learn to be better. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm not good. I'm really not
good.
I mean, I can beat my kids, but that's not saying a lot.
No, and that's the thing too. Is I can beat myself, like on the computer or something. But it's not. I'd love to be better at it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So it's a really one that I really do love playing. Me and Braylon actually used to play when she got to the point where she couldn't beat me, but she got close. I'm not saying that some kids aren't smart, but I know my kids are smart. So they
think
pick
you're
it up
biased,
easy.
Lonnon.
I am. But
that's fine. Hey, you got smart kids.
But that Evolution game I was talking about looks like they actually made it into an Android and an iOS app. Looks like it might be free too. So if you guys want to give it a go, it's a really quite a fun one, and they have the walkthrough and everything with it.
What's it called again?
Evolution board game.
Cool.
So basically, cool. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have these things that might look like it's a carnivore, but it's not a carnivore until you make it a carnivore. Right? So, or it's an herbivore, or it's an omnivore, or there's lots of cool things. Or like it can climb trees. Well, for a carnivore to eat it, right? The carnivore has to be able to climb the tree. If it doesn't have that trait, then it just sits at the bottom and looks up there like, "Wow, I'm hungry." So.
Yep, just downloaded
it. Wow, I'm hungry.
just downloaded it. That's awesome.
So yeah, that's a good one. So hopefully, I don't know. I mean, I can't think of any other ones. I mean, Griff, do you have any board games other than Wizard that you like?
No.
Wow.
No.
Wizard is the extent of Griff's.
I just don't. I don't play games like I.
You played Agricola with us, didn't you, or was that Dane?
Yeah, I will play games occasionally.
I know Dane did.
Settlers I've played, and it was miserably long. I played Rail Baron. That was.
That's because of Grandpa's Crusade, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem is that we play games, and it's always with Grandma and Grandpa because that's usually who we were doing it with, and. It's not that I have so many other things to do besides play a game that whole time. I'd rather relax and not think about it, to be honest.
See, but it's not about playing the game. Well, it is about playing the game, and of course, it's about winning for me. But
are you competitive? I can't tell at all. Like,
are you supposed to win? I'm just curious.
My kids, Baron. There's a reason Baron hasn't won me before, and it's because I don't just let people win. Because it doesn't teach them anything.
Hey, I have beat you before.
I'm not.
Thank
okay.
you.
Oh, I apologize. You haven't beat me a lot, is what I meant to say. I know you have beat me totally. But I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things that it doesn't teach you anything to win if you didn't win fairly, right?
Yes.
Once you can, I mean, you should see how ecstatic Baron is every time he wins against me. Like that kid freaking jumped to the moon, man. He's just ecstatic.
That kid, remember that kid is 31 years old now.
He's still a kid to me. You all are. I mean, you guys are all still kids to me.
Lonnon is 40 years old, soon to be 41.
Golly, old man.
Yeah.
He is old.
I'm an old fart.
Yes.
Old fart.
Lonnon,
gray hair's coming in.
We can't be talking about board games or games we like to play without mentioning your recent obsession of Dungeons & Dragons.
I only got to play it a little bit. I really do like it. It's quite fun because the reason it's fun is because I started dungeon mastering because the kids didn't know how to do it. And I'd never played, right? But it's fun because you get to create your character and you get to play it however you want to play it. So, like, if you want to be a little assassin that's tiny dwarf or an elf or, some hobbit or whatever it's going to gnome, right? It doesn't matter. You can play that character and you can play it how you want to play it, Well, I mean, I've got this huge monster in front of me, and I'm a little gnome, so I'm just gonna run between his legs and whack him in the nuts.
Well, that's one way to do it.
I mean, like,
I understand where the enjoyment can come from, because one of my great friends from high school, Kyler, he's a really into Dungeons and Dragons. He actually plays every
That
Sunday
does
night.
not surprise me.
No, I completely agree. Anyone that knows Kyler knows that he would probably play Dungeons and Dragons. But the fact that he can jump into that character completely and become that character and just really enjoy the night out being that person or that character.
right, and if you got a good DM, Dungeon Master, they can take you wherever you want to go.
Are you sure?
Dungeon Master.
They can take you anywhere. That's what's fun. It's like, if you want to have it in your own realm, you can make up your own rules. There's like no set that. So it's kind of like the same thing with Settlers of Catan, right? It changes every time you want it to. Or you can be in one world, and within that one world, there's certain things that are going to happen. But the next time you start a new character with a bunch of people, well, now it's on a new world. You're going to try something else.
That's just, I think it's pretty cool on that you're actually getting into it. You got your kids kind of into it too.
Roya really likes it. I haven't got to play with her lately because it's just hard.
Working too much.
Yeah, it was just hard nailing people down because it is another one of those things that you're going to be playing for 2.5, maybe 3 hours.
5 hours. Don't come on.
It could be. It absolutely could be. It depends on how big your dungeon is, and it also depends on how many people have played before or if they've ever played. So there's lots of things that come into play with it, but it's just interesting because like as a DM you can be like, oh, we were playing this part and Levi's like, well, I'm this huge like Goliath thing and I've got these two little gnomes there that I'm already 8 foot. I stand 8 foot tall. At the top of my hands, I'm 10 foot tall. I'm pretty sure I could throw one of those gnomes to the top of that 20-foot cliff. And I was like, well, roll for it because you're probably right. You're probably strong enough to throw one of them gnomes that only weighs 20 pounds. Let's give it a go. So that's
it's critical thinking as well. That's another one that's like, think outside the box for that.
Right. You can do anything you want. There's rules, but they're not like hard, fast rules. There are some, but for the most part, it's like the hard, fast rules are really like, at what level you get certain abilities. That's really what it comes down to. Those are the hard, fast.
I think it would be kind of fun to do with the family members that actually want to play it, to actually play it for like a month. Just like every Sunday for a month and just see where it goes. I
would agree, but the problem is I just don't know who. Baron says he's played it and doesn't ever want to try it. I doubt Griffith would ever want to try it because it's going to be too long. Although I think Griffith could have fun with that one because he could just mess around.
He could be his sarcastic self.
Right.
I want to poke the bear.
Right.
Or whatever it is.
If you poke the bear, you better expect to have that bear come back after you, though.
I don't like the lack of rules. It's just kind of all made up on the spot. That's my problem with it.
The best.
It is total chaos.
It isn't chaos, though. It's only chaos depending on who's running the dungeon. There are enough rules to make it hard, but why does it have to have a rule that, no, you can't throw him up to the top of the cliff? Well, if you were a huge giant, right, and you had a little gnome standing next to you, you don't think you could throw him that far? Yeah, you could.
You're one big giant.
Exactly. So, that's why I'm saying Griff, actually, I could see Griff getting into one of those because he'd be like, I don't know. I could see Griff being like that little thief type of gnome running around and just picking people off.
It just being that little annoying.
Right, because he'd go up and he'd hit him and then he'd go sneak and then he'd run away, and then he'd do it again.
Run away!
Run away! Run away! And you have to say that every time he ran away, too.
Right. Well, no, he couldn't, in the game, because then I would know where he was at as a dungeon master, right?
Darn
so then
it.
I could just... But he could do it after he was, already far enough away that I couldn't get him. Then he could taunt me. So that's what I do like about... That's what I do like about it. I think it's just interesting the level, the complexity you could get to, and that's what's interesting about it. It would just be fun to set something like that up. But like I said, Baron doesn't want to do it. I think if I could get Griffith to actually flesh out a character and actually play it, I think you might enjoy it because it's just him messing around, right? That's where I think he would enjoy it.
I know. Yeah, it's just the time commitment, obviously, for everybody nowadays. But I still like the fact that, you can take just about any board game and find some enjoyment. Just there's so many different genres and different things out there that you can find something that fits you.
Well, and I was actually looking at buying. So for my server, there's a application or a program that makes it so that I could do it all remotely. Like you guys could just be like, all right, we're logging in. right? And basically, you just have to be on a computer, and you can do it all off the computer. You can just hit the button and roll the dice and walk around, and then the maps are actually there. Because that's one of the hardest things as a DM is the maps. Because like Roya, I literally had to go out and buy her graph paper so that she could like draw where she was at. She just couldn't keep it in her head, where they were at. So then I was like, okay, this first one we tried. Let's just try playing some other ones real quick and see how those roll out. And here's a map, and it's basically here's a blank map. As you walk in, you can see that this corridor is right here, and so here's a map of that corridor. Oh, and there's 4 gnomes or goblins in there that you're gonna have to fight, but you can't see that. You can see the corner turns to the left, but you can't see anything from there, right? So it really would make it a lot easier to be honest with you, it would probably be faster to run digitally than it would be altogether.
Oh, absolutely, because you have the
visual.
The store in your brain. Yeah, it's in front of you, so you know exactly what choices you have, basically.
Right. I mean, there's still a lot of DM and a lot of people talking, but that's what's nice about that one is, and I've thought about buying it. It's like $80, but it's like, that's not that bad. There's lots of people that write plugins for it and programs for it. So if we got it to the point where we were to play on like actually just in front of around a table, a couple times and people did like it, then I'd probably do it.
Okay. I honestly, if we kind of set up a time, hey, let's do this on a Sunday afternoon or something, I'd be down for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm totally down to DM a game. We're actually, even Ethan, Braylon's friend, he's been playing it for years and years and years. He said he'd come DM for us whenever we wanted. So
cool.
Then I can actually play one of my characters I already have built. So, yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, if you guys want to look at the type of characters and stuff you can play, you can actually download the app. I think it's B&B, or it's B something. Hold on, I'll tell you real quick. So the first one is it's D&D Beyond, and then DDB Player. The DDB Player, that's the one that you can use to actually make your character on your phone. Everything can just be on your phone right in front of you. So anyway, yeah, I think we're about time to wrap it up, aren't we, Bear?
I think so. I mean, I think we've just kind of discussed every single game that we've played. I mean, other than just like childhood games that everybody plays.
Yeah.
Hey, let's throw this out there because obviously with our listeners, you guys kind of know where our heads are at, like what kind of games we kind of enjoy. Give us some options. Give us some more. What game is your favorite? Give us a shout out on Instagram, like, hey, at Kingly Crew, this is my favorite game, or whatever it is. We're interested in what you guys are playing too, and maybe we'll sit down and play with you at some point too.
Yeah, or I mean, like if you guys want to do a D&D, again, like I said, I could set that digital one up where we don't care where you're at. At that point, it doesn't matter.
Heck no. I mean, I think
you've got a microphone.
Awesome. Yep.
And a computer. You'd have to have a computer of some sort. But
well, I don't know if we do live in a first world country. I think most people have a computer.
Yeah.
At least one.
But you'd be surprised. I mean, like the amount of traffic that we get at Power Driven Diesel, and it's all off of the phones.
And people don't have, and then also people that don't have email addresses. Those ones crack me up.
Most of the time, that's an old guy, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how often do you actually find that that's a young guy? Never.
Oh, no, that's never. I don't know how you can live in today's day and age without an email address. Or the funny ones are like, well, I'm not going to give you that. That's personal information. It's like, dude, you have no idea what an email address is. It's not going to do anything for you.
It's not personal, dude.
If you really want to keep that one personal, great. Go make yourself a junk mail one. Just your name at junkmail.com.
Well, no, the funniest ones are like I don't have an email address. I make my wife do all that kind of stuff. Or, I got in a divorce, and so my wife took that.
She took that.
She took your email from you?
The freaking divorce, she got the email.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you made out. Go out and get a free one from Gmail. They're cheap.
Real cheap.
All right, Baron, finish us out.
So, alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast tonight. We kind of had a fun one just making this with games and different type of board games. We've always enjoyed games. So
maybe we might have to revisit this in the future when we can actually get more people on here. But I think the majority of them, they play a lot of the same games as we do. So
in the future, though, too, we're gonna have to touch base on our video games because yes, we play lots of board games, but majority of us play video games as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I might sit out for that one. The only game I play is Forza.
Well, but you still play.
Yes, one whole game.
Hey, there's a reason you play just that one game, Baron.
Except for Jackbox. Well, it's because it has cars in it, and I get to design the cars to look pretty, and I put my Red Baron logo on them.
Okay, we'll get into that when we actually play with the context. So, Barrett, what do we got to
Stay
do?
ugly, everybody.
Yeah, stay ugly.
Thanks for coming and stay ugly, guys.